Please come.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. Please sit down.
Thank you, sir.
What's your name?
Sir, my name is Sparsh.
Okay, Mr. Sparsh. Please sit relaxed. So, have you joined Indian Forest Service?
Sir, I've taken a one-year extension from it.
Okay, that's why, right. So, let us start. Kindly tell us about yourself.
So, my name is Sparsh. Sir, I did my bachelor's from NIT Kurukshetra in Haryana. So, post that, I was employed in Tejas Networks in Bangalore for 1 year as an engineer, research and development. Sir, after that, I worked with several companies as a freelancer, sir, in software development and as an ethical hacker. So, I was hired because I was able to report a vulnerability in their website. So, they asked me to work with them. Sir, in 2019, I went for my master's in aerospace engineering, guidance, navigation and control from IIC Bangalore. Sir, I finished my master's in 2022. And sir, last year I was recommended for the Indian Forest Service. And sir, I am aiming to be a member of the Indian Foreign Service now, sir.
Oh, imagine you have been such an expert, technical expert, and did your post-graduation also, and you want to leave all this behind and join a government service, and that too as a civil servant. Why is it so? You're not excited about that career at all?
Sir, I am excited about that. That is an exciting field, sir, cyber
So if you're
security.
excited, then why are you not continuing this?
Sir, but I feel that civil services, sir,
No, don't answer that.
Yes,
See,
sir.
why if you want to join civil services is a different question altogether.
Yes, sir.
But why don't you pursue this career? This is a different question. Kindly answer this.
Sir, the major reason is, sir, I feel that in that I will become very limited in my knowledge. So the domain is very limited. Sir,
Why domain? Those who have given these gifts to the world in this field,
Yes, sir.
and their names are legendary.
Yes, sir.
And now with Chat GPT and the new version coming and all that, sky is the limit.
So, but even in that, I will be working only in one field, maybe artificial intelligence, maybe rocket science. So, but what I feel is I am interested in multiple domains. So, I am interested in cyber security also. I am interested in software development as well, in aerospace as well. So, if you look at my profile also, I've worked in different fields.
Achha, okay, tell me, you are from Haryana.
Yes, sir.
What is this e-tendering thing for which a lot of protests are going on? Can you just enlighten me what it is all about?
Sir, it is regarding the third tier of the government, the Panchayati Raj, sir, in which any projects that are less than 2 lakh rupees, the Sarpanch can take a decision. But if it is greater than 2 lakh, then it is the process for allotment will happen through e-tendering. So the idea is that it will bring more transparency.
But why are there protests by the panchayats and sarpanches?
So they are protesting because some sarpanch feel that their power will be limited. So they say
What
that
is the power in that? Even e-tendering also. I mean, if I am a sarpanch and I float an e-tender, so my power would still remain to decide, no?
sir, in e-tendering it will be transparent. Whoever bids will be there, and whosoever.
So say that. So
Yes, sir.
sarpanches don't want transparency.
Right, sir. So some of the sarpanch, I would say that are against it.
Some? Okay. Now, so that means that they want the old system, and which obviously means the corrupt system to continue.
Yes, sir.
Is that right?
Sir, I do.
Because
Sir,
all sarpanches have got together. Is that right, you think?
Sir, I think transparency should be the bedrock of allotting these tendering processes. So the transparency also brings accountability that which companies are being allotted and have they completed their work. So I think transparency is the way forward for this.
So let us say that you are the person to decide about further course of action, and these people are not listening, and you are the, let us say, the district magistrate of one of the districts where all this is happening. What action will you take against these people?
Sir, I would say that protest is a right that they can protest against it. Sir, I would try to understand what are their demands. Sir, I would say that maybe in the tendering process also they can have some feedback.
No, but there have been a lot of talks. Are you following the news on that? They had even discussions with the Chief Minister.
Sir, I'm not following in detail, sir, but I know that.
Such an important thing. Would you tell me that, have you read today's newspaper, please?
Sir, today mornings I have not read it, sir.
It's 12 o'clock. Why haven't you read the newspaper?
Sir, I slept a little late, and sir, I woke up late, and I had to come from Gurgaon to Delhi, sir. So
You came how?
sir, through metro.
So in metro, you can, when you're sitting, you can have it in this. The
Yes,
news one can see on this.
yes, sir. Sir, I was trying to meditate, so that is why.
Between the two, what is important if you go for this civil service interview?
Sir, I think both are important. General awareness and sir, being calm is also equally important.
Okay,
Sir.
tell me, what are the internal security challenges to India, please?
Sir, in terms of internal security, sir, firstly, the left-wing extremism in certain areas, sir, in the red belt areas, sir, Chhattisgarh, Odisha, and Telangana. Sir, then I would say that in the northeast also, there's certain insurgency. The insurgents find refuge in other countries like Myanmar and across the border. Sir, in Jammu Kashmir also, we have seen some radicalization and terrorist attacks. So I think these are the major internal challenges.
Let's talk of the northeast. Where are insurgencies in the northeast? You mentioned about that.
Sir, in Nagaland, there insurgency is there.
There is no insurgency in Nagaland. There is a ceasefire with the main group for the last more than 20 years. I have just been to Nagaland a fortnight ago. There is total peace there.
Sir, I would have to look in this in more detail, sir.
So where else is there insurgency in the northeast? Northeast has so many states, you know that. How
Yes,
many
sir.
states it has, by the way?
So the seven sisters. So we have Arunachal Pradesh, Nagaland, Mizoram, Manipur, Tripura, Meghalaya,
Even
Arunachal.
Sikkim is now considered in the northeast.
Yes, sir.
Anyway, so where else in the northeast apart from Nagaland, insurgency?
Sir, Manipur, sir, it has been calm for a lot of years.
So if it is calm, then where is the insurgency?
So-
You said there is insurgency.
So recently there was a news article in which said that the one of the tribes is asking for cancellation of the talks that happened with the government.
So this asking for it, so that like in Haryana they are saying cancel the e-tendering. So will it be insurgency then?
No, sir, definitely not, sir.
So nothing in Manipur also.
Uh,
So where else? Okay, tell me now. You worked with Tejas. You said that.
Yes,
So,
sir.
defense exports. Tell me, India is exporting which defense items, and to how many countries of the world?
so one thing I would say, sir, that is Tejas Networks.
No, I heard that.
Okay, sir.
What I mean is, but you know what Tejas I am referring
Yes,
to.
sir, right, sir.
Okay. Yeah.
So recently a aero show happened at Yelahanka Air Base in Bangalore. So there were talks that some of the countries have shown interest in buying Tejas light aircraft.
Who said that?
Uh,
Prime Minister spoke on that occasion. Did you follow what he said about this matter?
So the Prime Minister focused on two things. First, we have to,
On this matter, did you say anything?
so particularly
I
with,
said that.
so particularly with Tejas, I'm not aware.
So you think there are only talks, nothing in concrete has happened so far?
Sir, sorry, I'm not aware of the details, sir. If anything has happened in that,
Thank you.
thank you, sir.
Sparsh.
Yes, sir.
Sparsh Yadav.
Yes, sir.
Sparsh, these days the parliament is not functioning. You read about it?
Yes, sir.
Tell us why it is not functioning. What are the causes for the parliament not being functioning? And what should we do about it? And what are your comments on the situation?
So there have been a kind of conflict between the opposition party and the ruling party. So there have been concerns about the comments that were made. So in that regard, the functioning parliament has stalled. So there are constant protests regarding that. and the session has to be paused for that in that particular
Comments
regard.
made
What-
by whom?
And what are those comments?
Sir, I actually did not follow that particular news in detail, sir.
But who made the comments?
Sir, the opposition leader Rahul Gandhi made not the leader, but Rahul Gandhi made some comments in UK. That I am aware, but I'm not exactly aware of the comments.
So why there is a log jam in the parliament? Who is stopping the parliament from functioning?
So when there is no decorum, when people are not able to communicate on decisions, sir, I think in that scenario, the speaker or the vice president, the chairman, has to stop the functioning of the house, sir. So when there is no communication happening, sir, I think.
Would you elaborate? What do you mean there is no decorum? What do you mean by that?
So people are, sir, shouting, so they are not able to communicate they are not able to vote on the bills. So in that regard, it is not.
Which bills have not been voted upon? You
Sir,
haven't read the papers, have you? You not followed this story, have you?
sir, I have not read this in detail, sir. This particular news I have not followed in detail, sir.
The Parliament of India is not functioning for the last so many days. It's a very major news,
Yes, sir.
a major happening. Every Indian should be concerned.
So concerns are there, sir. It is not just this session, sir.
So what is the concern if you don't even know the causes of it?
Sir,
Okay, and what should we do about it?
so there is a need to improve, sir, parliamentary productivity, sir. It is not just this session that this is happening. We have seen that the productivity has declined over the years.
Mm-hmm.
So the number of times the parliament is meeting, the number of days has constantly decreased since independence. So I think in that regard,
If you were the speaker, the presiding officer of one of the houses, what would you do to make it more productive?
So my focus would be on ensuring that communication happens on whatever the bills are being discussed. So people who are not are obstructing that, so I think they can be temporarily removed from the house so that the process.
Normally, what activities take place in a house on a normal day, on any given day in the parliament? What type of activities take place?
Sir, it starts with the 0 hour in the morning,
Mm-hmm.
in which questions can be asked. Sir, so this happens in the forenoon session.
There is a question hour, there is 0 hour.
So both are there.
Mhm.
Question hour is also there, sir,
Mhm.
and 0 hour is also there. Sir, in 0 hour, but questions don't have to be told beforehand.
Mhm.
Sir, and this happens in the forenoon session,
Mhm.
and then the afternoon session, there's a discussion on the bills, whatever the parliamentary standing committees has sent, what are the discussions, what are the outcomes of those committees, they are presented to the parliament and discussed, sir.
Mhm. So, what do you do as a speaker to make it more productive?
So firstly, sir, as I mentioned, that it would be seeing that why who are the elements because of which this obstruction is happening.
Mm-hmm.
So secondly, I would also say there is need to make awareness among the parliamentarians that that we can have discussions in a peaceful manner, and that will be beneficial for our country. There is no
You
point.
think the present presiding officers are not able to do it? They're not competent enough, or they're not? Why they have failed in it?
Sir, I have not looked at the proceedings of the House, sir, so it will be difficult for me to comment on that, sir.
Okay, let us move away from this subject.
Yes, sir.
Whatever is happening in the country, mention two things that make you very optimistic about the future of the country, and two things that make you pessimistic.
So the first thing that makes me optimistic is the education policy that was released. So it is talking about skilling. It is talking about skill mapping with the developed countries. Sir, it is about making sure that the people who graduate from schools and colleges, so they are ready for the job environment that has been created. Sir, it focuses on practical knowledge instead of just rote learning, sir, in the schools. The second thing that makes me optimistic is India's foreign policy, sir. Sir, we are currently president of G20, and sir, India has a growing weightage in the international relations these days. So, be it leading G20 right now, or so when we are talking about multilateral reforms. So these are the things again.
How does that help the common man?
So that will help because, for example, in G20, several dignitaries are coming from foreign countries. So say they learn about Indian culture. So that will promote tourism, maybe even investment, and so that will ultimately lead to job employment and opportunities. So there might be technical exchange as well in that direction. So
You sure? Just because people are coming over here, it will bring in investment and they will know the culture of the country and people will benefit from it.
So that also, and sir, secondly, when we are talking.
Otherwise, anything happening in the country at the moment, which is promising?
So the digital revolution that is happening in country is also promising.
Okay. Please elaborate on that.
So we have come up with different technology. So for example, the CoWIN portal or the technology for finance like the UPI. So which has been praised all over the world. So I think that brings financial inclusion with it. So it brings ease of remittances and payments. We recently integrated it with Singapore's Pay Now. And so we are also willing to send this.
What are the major causes for the success of the UPI scheme?
So I would say it is the ease that it provides. So we can simply scan a barcode and it happens instantaneously. Instead of NEFT, which used to happen during the banking hours. So in that sense, it is better. And second, there are also not downtimes. Very few downtimes I've seen in UPI, and it is.
If I don't have a bank account, how do I benefit from the UPI? So bank account is the mother of UPI. Unless you had a bank account,
Yes,
it
sir.
doesn't benefit you at all. So opening of bank accounts was the most important part of the UPI's success.
Right, sir. Correct, sir.
Okay, recently there was a Silicon Valley Bank in the news.
Yes, sir.
You heard about that?
Yes, sir. Sir, it was a bank in USA, California. So then a lot of startups had put their money in it. So that bank had invested in government treasury bonds. And so because of Feds have been increasing the interest rate for the past year continuously. So the price of that bonds had decreased. And so the bank had to sell those assets in loss. So around 2 billion loss, it had to sell it. And so that led to the bank run. And the bank was not able to process the money. So, but however, the government intervened, and now it is there are news articles that some people have been able to withdraw money.
How are the Indian companies impacted because of that?
So some companies like Paytm had money parked in that particular bank. So if they are not able to withdraw that, they will not be able to make payment.
Don't guess. Paytm had no money in the bank.
So Paytm had, sir. So then I might be wrong, sir. I will check it, sir.
The bank had invested in the Paytm in the beginning, and they have sold their shares. They're not no account.
So SoftBank was the one who sold the shares in Paytm.
SoftBank is a Japanese company.
Yes, sir.
Oh.
Sir, I will check that, sir. But
don't guess.
Yes, sir.
Okay. What is India's GDP at the moment, ending March 23?
Sir, it is around $3.5 trillion, sir.
And that makes it how much per capita income? If the population is 1.4.
Sir, I will have to make a guess about it, sir. So can I?
Why divide 3.5 by 1.4? Why guess?
Sir, 3. Sir, I'm a bit. Sir, I use calculators generally. I'm a bit slow in calculations.
All right, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Sparsh,
Yes, sir.
you're from Delhi,
Yes, sir.
and MCD has been reorganized. Earlier it was 1, then it became 3, now again 1. Is there any logic behind this?
Sir, when it was converted to 3 in 2011-12, so the idea was that maybe sir, better development will happen with it. So, but when we saw that some of the MCD, sir, I think the East Delhi MCD did not have enough funds. So had less funds compared to the North and the South. Sir. So I think in that direction the government felt that there's a need to recombine these MCDs, sir.
Okay. So recently I saw some report which said that Delhi wants to increase its revenue districts from 11 to 14. So don't you see this contradiction? On the one hand, we want to increase the districts so that we have better administration. On the other hand, a city of the size of Delhi, we want one MCD. Can one MCD run the entire city?
Sir, I think there are benefits and there might be some negatives also when we have one MCD.
What is your opinion?
Sir, I think that having a one MCD, there will be better collaboration between the different parts. So when it comes to maybe the drainage part, we cannot distinguish that which. So I think it has to be done on a holistic basis. So when it comes to the development of the roads, sir, I think in that scenario, better coordination might be there. So that might be helpful, sir, in that one MCD.
All right. Now, you have interest in foreign policy.
Yes, sir.
You have put it as your number one priority.
Yes, sir.
India was member of the UN Security Council
Yes, sir.
and it was also president.
Yes, sir.
You know how many times?
Sir, in 1 year, sir, I think for 1 month, generally the presidency for UNSC is there.
Okay.
Sir, I think India was there for 2 months out of the 12 months, I think so.
Okay. So 1 year, 1 month, 2 times president, August 2021 and December 2022. So, do you think Indian foreign policy has gained anything from that? Tell me 2 or 3 big issues that shows that Indian foreign policy has gained because India was member of the UN Security Council, and was president twice in 2 years.
Sir, I can think of one significant thing that happened. Sir, it was the counter-terrorism. We made discussions on the issue of terrorism. Sir, we also held the counter-terrorism meeting in Bombay and Delhi. So this is the most important thing that came out of India's presidency in 2022 particularly.
What is the benefit? What is the benefit?
So the benefit out of it is that we have seen issues of terrorism from Pakistan in Jammu Kashmir region. So when bringing, we can make sure that the world can come up can decide on the definition of terrorism and we can counter it in that region. Sir.
So what was the other major agenda that India had at the United Nations? What are the other issues that are interest of India?
So
Tell me that.
So the other issues is the reform of UNSC. Sir, that is not representative. Sir, there are no members from Africa.
All right.
It is not.
What else?
Sir, the other is that it has failed in tackling the Ukraine-Russia conflict, and it is having effects on food and energy security in Africa, and even in India was impacted by it. So this was another concern.
Okay. What about peacekeeping?
So India is one of the largest contributors in peacekeeping, sir.
So that's also a thing.
Yes, sir.
Okay, now you're talking about multilateral reform and UN Security Council reform. So give me 3 reasons why India should be considered for permanent membership of the UN Security Council.
So first of all, I would say that it's an institution that was created in 20th century. And the geopolitics have changed since then. Sir, India's economy, India now is the 5th largest economy.
Okay.
Sir, India has. So secondly, I would say India has growing defense capabilities also, and one of the largest contributors to the peacekeeping forces.
2.
And so finally, I would say that India has always been an advocate for the voice of the global South, and India can continue to do that if it is a member of the permanent member. India will raise those issues also again.
All right. Now, let's move to another area. Recently, there was a very hectic diplomacy by China in West Asia.
Yes, sir.
You must be aware
Yes,
of
sir.
that. Please tell us, what was it?
So, Saudi Arabia and Iran had broken off their diplomatic relations in 2017. So, China right now.
2017? 2016?
So 2016 it might be.
Okay.
So China has helped broker a deal between these 2 countries in which they have decided that they will open diplomatic missions.
All right.
So they will cooperate on security. There's a 2001 agreement. And so there's a 1998 agreement on economic cooperation as well.
Right.
And so finally they have decided that they will not sponsor groups on sectarian basis in countries like Yemen, Syria. So that will,
Good.
they will not do it.
So, you tell me, how does it impact India? Is it good for India? It's bad for India? What is your opinion?
Sir,
Give me two reasons why it is good or bad.
Sir, it is good for India, sir, I would say, because it brings stability to the region. So that is an interest of everyone. Even USA accepted that no matter who brokered the deal, stability is beneficial.
Okay.
So on the negative side, sir, I would say that it shows growing presence of China, and maybe India could have issues with energy security. China is coming closer to Iran. Sir, it has also already signed a 25-year, $400 billion.
So, why should India have problem with energy security, as you said?
So energy security and access to Central Asia, sir. So energy security, because the whatever Iran is producing, that might be now diverted to China. And sir, if sir, India already earlier had some projects also in Iran, sir, for example, railway project, and these projects, sir, I think those projects are also taken away and they were assigned to Chinese companies, sir.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Sparsh Yadav,
Yes, sir.
you were doing some coding work,
Yes, sir.
and how long did you do that?
Sir, I did from 2014 up to 2019, sir.
So with this AI developments, particularly ChatGPT version 4,
Yes, sir.
coding workers are going to be redundant because this AI will do the coding work more efficiently.
Correct, sir.
Is that right?
Right, sir.
So very disruptive.
Sir, it will increase the productivity of the developers. Sir, it is seen that sometimes there are some errors in the code. So programmers, sir, I would say at least, sir, 5 to 10 times productivity improve has happened. And sir, I would say secondly, although the coding jobs might decline in that sense, sir, but we also need new researchers in fields of machine learning, so who can come up with better algorithms. So that opportunity has also opened up with this development, sir.
So what could be the other impact of ChatGPT and other similar AI tools coming up
Sir,
in the long run, medium long run?
Sir, I see that, sir, it is one of the revolutionary technologies, sir, I would say. Sir, I feel, sir, it can have impact in almost all the sectors, sir. So, firstly, coding, as we discussed. So, secondly, I would say it can also be used for maybe mental health counseling. Sir, it is people are able to communicate with it in a better way. Sir, I think it can also help in governance, where it can be used to summarize reports or summarize Supreme Court judgments can be done, sir. Then economics also, sir, it is able to provide a summary of companies' financials that people are
But
doing.
educationists have problems with this
Yes, sir.
development. And students, there is teachers fear that students will plagiarize, and they have been plagiarized. Now, if you are representing ChatGPT or similar AI tools, and I am a teacher, and I tell you that, well, I have a problem with students using ChatGPT, plagiarizing, what would you tell me?
So firstly, I would say that we are working on solutions that will be able to identify that the text is being generated from ChatGPT or similar bots. So we are working on watermarking, that some kind of watermark be created in text that it is generated that can be identified.
Yeah, that's all right. But tell me, how does ChatGPT help teachers as well? It's a two-way process. If students can make use of it, so can teachers.
So there are, so teachers can even generate question papers. So they can tell ChatGPT that I want to generate a test for my students. I want a multiple MCQ question paper, and it can bring innovative question that involve critical thinking. So in that sense, I think teachers can use it. So even teachers can use it. So because teachers are also always learning, so they can also use it for their own learning process. Sir.
Okay, now 5G technology, there's a lot of hype about speed and broadband and latency. But what are the practical uses?
So the practical uses of 5G are particularly in the crowded areas, sir. sir, for example, if the density is too high of mobile phones, sir, for example, in stadiums or in sir, apartment buildings, sir, in that scenario, it will provide better speeds to multiple people.
Oh, I'm talking about, forget about speed and latency and broadband. What about the other practical industry applications?
So then there is also IoT. Sir, IoT devices can integrate with 5G, and we can have better understanding of the processes that are happening.
But all the IoT devices must also have 5G.
Yes, sir.
Otherwise, it won't work.
Yes, sir. Right, sir.
Okay, like traffic management, for example.
Yes, sir.
Will it work? Can it improve traffic management?
Sir, I feel definitely there is opportunity that needs to be explored, but I am not aware of any particular things that are happening in traffic management. But sir, I am pretty sure that it can be very helpful in that also.
Okay. Now, tell me, how do you read the security situation in Kashmir?
Sir, I would say that since the abrogation of Article 370 and 35A, sir, I think the situation has gradually improved because there is better integration of this region in India, in mainstream India, sir. So the government can now work on socio-economic development of these region, which will also prevent radicalization of the youth. So because once they have jobs, they will not be attracted to ideologies of terrorist groups. So in that direction, it can be helpful. And sir, as more and more investment and startups are coming up in J&K will be there, sir, I think that security situation will gradually improve in that direction.
This alienation among the youth, has it gone away, or is it, or has it not? Or is it just fatigue, terror fatigue, that the youth are not coming to the streets? Has it disappeared?
Sir, it is not completely disappeared. There are still some instances in which we are seeing.
Has fatigue set in? They've been doing that for years now.
Yes, sir.
Without results. So, is it time to withdraw the army?
Sir, I think the security situation is not that secure that we can withdraw the army. Sir, I think gradually we should analyze the situation on a
But how else will you restore normalcy if the army continues to stay there in such large numbers? You have to move forward.
Right, sir. Sir, I think we have to see, sir. We can, sir, even have data ki how many instances of radicalization are there. Is it decreasing?
Well, that data is available. I am sure it must be available with the agencies.
Yes, sir. Sir, I am not aware of the data.
You're not aware of that.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And how does one deal with Pakistan? Because Pakistan will not go away. At present, probably it's in turmoil. Without Pakistan, you can't have a solution. How do you deal with that factor?
Sir, I was reading this book, Challenges and Strategy by Rajiv Sikri. Sir, he said that this issue is not something that needs to be solved right now. It is an issue that needs to be managed for a considerable amount of time. And maybe in the future, there will be a situation when the political parties have more will, when the people have more contact and integration through our neighborhood first policy. So maybe then the situation will emerge like it happened in Berlin, the fall of the Berlin Wall. So he said that
we should wait and watch. Maybe for another 10, 20, 30, 40 years.
Sir, I feel unfortunately that is the most practical scenario going forward, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much,
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Sparsh. Our discussion with you is over. So kindly wait outside for a few minutes. We'll
Right.
call you for feedback.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.